here, ShortMeTina.com, with my daily recap March Blitz. As I indicated, doing a video every single day for the month of March. Let's kick it off really quickly with the S&P 500, the SPY to daily chart. We closed at 37, 37, yeah, right, that would be a complete disaster. No, we closed at 376.70, right? So we're down about 1.24% on the day. I just want to focus in on March of last year's bottom. Up until current day, you see this trend line. For those that have been following along, I've been talking about this trend line for a very long time. I started talking about it in the beginning of February, and most recently the last few days since I've been doing a daily video. And I essentially said, well, we really want to pay attention to that line, because if we breached it, chances are the market would fall a little further. And so that's exactly what happened today. We've had about 3 days of decline. Today it finally broke this line. Although we kind of bounced off the lows of 371.88, we did pull back as far as 371.88. So it was a bit scary midday, with confirming volume again, close at 376.70. Heading into tomorrow, I'm not saying that's it, although disclaimer, I did put on a short yesterday anticipating this break here. Because generally speaking, once a level is tested over and over and over again, the likelihood of it breaking increases. And for me, the fact that the market was hanging around this line here, this uptrend line, I had a feeling that it would actually break, and once that happens, we would have had that pullback. So I went short yesterday anticipating that. Doesn't necessarily mean that the markets will not pop, because we've seen sort of like these fake outs before. So I'm not going to really do much tomorrow, just pay attention to the market. And I think by next week, so I said this week should be telling for me in terms of what I was going to do. So I got enough signals to want to go short. Next week is going to tell me whether or not I'm going to hold on to that short, add to that short position of the SPY, or if I'm going to just sort of like take whatever profits I have and look for bargains in the market. I was about to say in the morning, in the market, right? So anticipated this line breaching. It happened. Went short yesterday in anticipation that it would breach this trend line here. Not solidly convinced that we're going to have like that 10-15% correction. It might be the beginnings of that. I think watching what the market does tomorrow and definitely Monday should be telling. All right, hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I've done a few videos on the SPY dating back to the ending of February. So if you listen to all of those, you'll really understand what I'm talking about when I talk about this purple trend line here. What else? All right, so we have Tesla here, closed at 621.44. I think we're down in after hours. I think the last quote I saw was around 600. So essentially in after hours, we're trading at session lows, which actually clocked in at 600 as well. Tesla was all over the place today. You can see it here just by looking at this candle. The high clocked in at 873.94. The low 600. So definitely quite a wild ride with Tesla. I talked about Tesla, I believe, in the week, and I said, well, ideal for me, right? Just based on this chart, it's a daily chart going back to 2019, focusing more on that March 2020 bottom, where the market where the stock started to really kind of run away. Hence why I'm paying attention to this line. I actually like it, and it was tested quite a few times, right? I think I counted something like 8, although there's less than 8 arrows here. I think I counted something like 8 times in which this upward trend line was tested and it held. So for me, if it pulls back to that trend line, and we can call that somewhere in that $500 area, I think from a risk reward perspective would be a decent area to go long. I don't think that the Tesla story is over. I think for anyone that has missed getting into Tesla, if it does correct further, I think it's going to present you with another opportunity. Now, I'm not sure if I spoke about this in the video yesterday, but I believe at some point in the last few videos that I've done, I've spoken about the market constantly giving you several chances to get into a trade. So oftentimes it doesn't make any sense to rush into trades. And I think I spoke about this as well in my free newsletter. And if you're not subscribed, definitely head to ShortMeTina.com, where I said I've been sort of skeptical on the market since ending of 2020, heading into 2021. And I really have sat on my hands. Not to say I haven't made trades. I've actually made some long trades. I wasn't necessarily successful on them. But this correction here that happened in the market today, believe it or not, did not really affect me much, because on some levels I anticipated a pullback and I didn't feel comfortable being exposed on the long side. So I say all that to say, I'm always rambling, by the way, but I say all that to say, patient market gives you plenty of opportunities to get into trades that you miss. Like, just put FOMO to the side. Like, there's always multiple opportunities to get into a trade. So with Tesla, I think one might actually be presenting itself, sitting here at around 600 and after hours. If it pulls back more, I think I would bet on this trend line holding, because it's held up quite well for the past year or so. What else? All right, so let's cap it with GPS Gap daily chart dating back to 2019. But as with most charts that I'm looking at right now, let's just focus in on sort of the March 2020 bottom. That's when, after the pandemic and the market had this huge sell-off, it decided to bounce, and for the most part, it's never looked back. Outside of what we've been seeing these past few trading days. Anyway, so let's focus here. And I want to talk about GPS, and then, the way I just prefaced that, it looks like I'm about to go into a very long monologue, but I don't want to do that. So I just caught myself. Anyway, so I'm going to make it really quick, but this is also sort of like a lesson in patience. So I manage funds not just for myself, but for others. And I usually invite folks to let me know sort of the stocks that they want to get into. And I talk about Gap because this was actually a stock that someone who I manage your portfolio for actually brought it to my attention. I was not interested in it at all, and they brought it to my attention around, I want to say June, around here, when Kanye had released, or Gap rather had released, that they have some sort of partnership with Kanye West and Yeezy, right? So the person, being a huge Kanye fan, was like, hey, I want that particular stock. Now, obviously, and maybe another day I'll go into a longer analysis of Gap, but if you look at the longer term chart, it wasn't necessarily the best looking chart. It wasn't bullish at all. And who still shops at Gap? Granted, I remember Gap in my younger years. I have a teenage daughter. I'm not even quite sure if she even wears Gap, but Gap was a thing back in my days. So for me, it was like, why would you want to get into this stock? But I said, you know what, you want to get into it, I will. However, not that day when the market essentially rallied on that news. You can see it here. I think it was up something north of 20% on that day. The point is, exercise in patience. I didn't enter the trade that day. I waited until it pulled back to what I thought was a decent price point. So somewhere around here, and I think I ended up getting in for this client at around $10 or $11, something like that. Still holding the trade, and I've treated it as somewhat of a speculative trade. Maybe more than a speculative trade. Still in the trade, and it's doing extremely well, right? Sitting here at 25.38. It's up in after hours. I see an additional north of 4%. I see a quote of 26.30 in after hours. So that particular client got, obviously us working together, is up over 100% on this trade. So where do I see Gap going? Barring a huge market correction, I really can see the Gap, and it's actually setting up to shorter term and longer term. This uptrend remains intact for the most part, right? Uptrend remains intact, one can say. And then if you look here, this looks like a rounding bottom, right? A rounding bottom, or perhaps a cup and handle emerging. So I can see it getting to around $30. And if it gets to 30 and it breaks through, look out. I think 40 is around the corner. Again, If we have a huge market correction, obviously that might affect this stock. But if we don't, and we just have a minor correction, even if the overall market pulls back tomorrow, I can still see Gap putting up 5 or 10% on the day. So shorter term price target, I see around 30-35 for Gap. If the bull market at some point continues heading into the warmer months, I can see this trading at 40. So, and I've been actually talking about Gap. If you go to my website, ShortMeTina.com, I'm going to pause this video for a second and get it. All right, again, so I'm back again. If you hit on trading Watchlist, I believe, is this the same thing? Yeah, why do I have this open twice? Yeah, so if you hit on trading Watchlist, I release this every Sunday. Just either sign up at ShortMeTina.com or go to our website, ShortMeTina.com. You hit on trading Watchlist, and I usually talk about stocks that are moving in the market. You can see here I did an analysis of the SPY, Spotify, Snap, and Silver, Zynga, Bitcoin. And then if you look at the bottom here, GPS, this has been there for quite some time, and I've been speaking about the possibility of Gap seeing a clear path to 25.30. Sitting here at 26.30, clearly we are already there. And I guess at the time that I wrote this, that was about a 25 to 50% upside. So yeah, lost my train of thought, but you get the picture. Pay attention to Gap. It's been a really nice performer for one of my clients, and I still think it has potential to go further. All right, I don't know, these I think I'm gonna need coffee before I do these videos, because my energy level is on low and I don't like that. So hopefully next week I'll be a lot more energetic than I have been this week. So thanks for hanging in there, and we're gonna cap it there. Tina here once again from ShortMeTina.com. If you enjoyed any portion of this video, do 3 things for me, or 2 or 1, I'm not quite sure. 1, comment in the comment section, like the video. 3rd thing is we're still hosting that free 14-day trading course on our website. So if that's something that you're interested in, again, no credit card needed, just a valid email address. And I've been trading in the markets for about 20 years. And the course, or the videos that I send you, essentially talks about things, simple things that have worked for me and got me on that path to consistent profitability. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely head on over to our website, ShortMeTina.com, sign up, become a member. Thank you for listening. Oh, I think that was my spiel. Thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for the support. I'll talk to you guys